Jack, thank you
Yeah,
very much for joining me, and thanks for agreeing to talk about the work we've done and record a testimonial for potential clients who might want to work for me. So I hope you don't mind, Jack. If we start with you just introducing yourself, a little bit about what you do and how great you are.
yeah, sure. No problem at all. Talking about how great I am. Cheers. Since I've been working with you anyway. So I've been a mortgage broker for about 4 years now. And that is where we met really. You came to the company that I was working with. And since then, I've set up a property sourcing company as well. So people that are looking to invest in property but might not necessarily know what to do and have the expertise or not have the time to do it, I'll happily find them a property and help them out with that side of things as well, while still being a mortgage broker.
And I mean, really good that you've followed your ambitions. So there's a few things I wouldn't mind talking about. The first is thinking back to when we first started working together. What was your experience of working? What was it like before? And then what was it like after we'd worked together? So kind of thinking about the differences.
A couple of things to take into account, I suppose. First would be kind of the overall culture in the company, and then kind of how I was as well. So I think everything was fine, but maybe needed a little bit of modernisation as a culture as a whole. And I think where I was before I worked with you was I knew what my ambitions were, but I had no idea whether I could get there or how to get there either. So I really needed to be honest, an awakening of someone to say, this is possible, this is plausible. And kind of after speaking to yourself, even initially, anyone lucky enough to have especially a face-to-face session with yourself, they're going to feel the vibrance and the energy that comes off you, and they're going to benefit from that straight away. After a period of time, you then start to see not only just the initial motivation, but you start to see things come into fruition that you might have said, and you start to put things into play, and you see your business changing, but your life and your attitude and your ethos changing as well.
And, you know, that's one of the things I love most about my work is when I work with clients like you who get so much from it, tap into it. And you're right, it's interesting. The word energy comes up a lot. It's not something I talk very much about, but there is something about a transference of energy in that relationship. It's really good. So when you think about time frame, Jack, how long before you noticed, a material difference? How long did it take?
Yeah, I'd say initially, I think we had hour-long sessions. So even after that first hour, you've certainly got enough to take away, even if it just is, again, to mention the energy and the vibrance that you give off to get you through the rest of the day and see that you can actually increase the state that you've got. And I think we had a relationship maybe for a 12-month period. Yeah. And over that 12 months, you always see yourself growing because you'd always be achieving new things, setting yourself new targets, learning new things in the sessions. But having someone to hold you accountable week in, week out, month out, and seeing the growth and seeing the progression and being able to measure that over a longer period is really beneficial. But over the longer period of time, that just compounds, as you can imagine. So, I think initially you get something, but over the long term, you get even more.
Thank you. You're right. It's like anything, I guess, isn't it? As you build momentum, it's this snowball effect, and you get this exponential growth and strengthening of your capability. So when you think about early results and then sustaining them as you kind of go through the relationship, but then what if you think back? What's the kind of biggest lesson? As you reflect back on what you've learned, what's the kind of thing that really sticks in your mind?
I think for me, it was probably the limiting beliefs that I had, and just the not knowing that I could achieve so much. So we set some kind of financial goals, and I got there a hell of a lot quicker than I thought I would after our conversations. And from there, it's, well, why would you stop there? And we looked at the employed, self-employed, business owner, investor part as well, and how you kind of make those movements. And I think for me, it was, I could have just plodded along doing what I was doing, and that would have been okay and good probably. But I knew that I had ambitions to, sounds drastic, but kind of change the world and help give really good advice and help people that needed it. So I think by, saying actually, they're your goals, they're your ambitions, you can achieve those if you want to, and helping me on that path and setting me steps to do it, I think was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I always remember our first session, and that question I asked you, what do you really want? And you were kind of going, are you sure you want me to tell you? And it's like, and it was like you were thinking really big right at the start. We got you challenged and thinking big right at the start, and you are achieving everything you set out. Right? It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens for clients, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Once you get clear on what you want, you can actually achieve it.
But even talking that out. So talking that out with someone, what you really want. So not, I want to earn X, I want to do that. But, things that really drive you, things that you're really passionate about, get them written down.
Yeah.
Learn what they are off by heart, look at them every day, and have someone kind of holding you accountable to them and speaking to them about it. It was probably something that I needed.
Yeah. And it's funny because there is something that happens. If you could convert what's in your head and what you're thinking about, as soon as you start talking about it, as soon as you become confident to tell other people about it, and you can do that first of all in a safe relationship, a safe space, and then you start to go, actually, it's not just me talking about it, I'm now building plans around it. And it goes from, anything in your mind you can create if you go through that creation process. And we just enabled you to do that. It's fantastic. Yes, it's almost too simple to believe, isn't it? But really powerful, really powerful. What about results? If you could, can you measure the kind of biggest win? Right, started here and I got to here.
Business banked or business commission that you've written and things like that. That in itself has naturally grown. A lot of that through kind of techniques and tips that you've shared. You also had quite a big focus on cross-selling and being the best you could at that. And our advice is typically to help people that need the help, and we offer a hell of a lot of value. And I think that I was undervaluing my service as well based on what you were saying. So you've said, actually, for what you're doing, is the fee applicable? Are you even promoting how good you are to get more referrals and things like that? So speaking to you a moment ago, kind of off camera, and saying that this is, even just after, we're still in lockdown, I think, aren't we? This is the best month I've ever had. So I think knowing that, compounding over a long period of time that we've been speaking, you probably doubled, to be honest, from where I was before.
Well, and you were also saying off camera, Jack, that you asked the owner of the company, the CEO, what the best month ever for business written by an individual in the business. You're aiming for that this month, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I'm confident there. I've done the maths to work out that I can get there. And I think part of that is a public display of accountability as well. So I'm asking him about that, and I've told a couple of people about it. So now I was going to try and do it anyway, but I've kind of got to do it now because I said it.
Brilliant. I love that accountability piece. Yeah, it's really good. So you think double, you could probably measure a doubling of your revenue, doubling of your monthly kind of turnover and revenue.
Yeah. I haven't got it written down in front of me now, but I'm almost certain it's double in terms of figures, in terms of the customers helped per month. Yeah.
Excellent. Wow. I am delighted for you, Jack, because that, you're serving more customers, you're making a bigger impact. And of course, it's improving profitability for the company and for you personally. It's just a win on all levels, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there'll be a lot of customers that may have not got help before that are now. Everything you said has come to fruition, which was a bit, on that initial conversation, it might have been a bit hard to believe, but
and remember, Jack, we went well beyond a year or two. We talked about 5 years, so imagine where you're going to be in 5 years from now. I can't wait. So finally, Jack, what if a potential client was to say, potential client for me was to say to you, why would you recommend Justin? What would you say?
The impact that it's had on me is almost inconceivable in terms of both the business side. So if you want to improve your business, whether it's the culture within the business, whether it's the numbers, whether it's growth, but also the self-development side, which is really important to me, but kind of gone to sleep a little bit. And I needed that awakening. And I think going beyond me as well, anyone you speak to, so whether it's the business side, whether it's the self-development side, whether it's just gaining the energy, whether it's just having the accountability, Yeah, you definitely tick all those boxes. So yeah, I can only thank you for what you've done for me, and hope that other people see the same results as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will, Jack, and thank you. And you know, it's always a two-way street, these relationships. And the great thing I love about working with people like you, and in particular you, is just the commitment and the energy and the drive that you brought to your development and growth. You were completely committed, and
Yeah,
that's a big part of it.
I'm sure you will naturally attract the type of people that are like you anyway. But what I would say is that people are going to have to put in the work to
Yeah,
get the results out of this. And as
yeah.
long as they're willing to do that and follow the steps and the system, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's that combination, the passion, the work, and the
Mm.
process and the systemization of it. But no, it's really good, really good. Jack, listen, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and wish you every success in your future and beyond this. You know, next couple of years into the 5 to 10 year plan that you're also mapping out.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, thanks for your time as well today. Nice to speak to you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Jack. Well done.